I was born in the Lone Star State beneath the Texas sky. I can rope and ride like Daddy, and I never ever cried. But now the world's a-changing. Girls must cover up to their eyes. Don't wanna be sold to some old man, I'd really rather die. So just go home. Just go home. Just go home. Sharia law's not welcome over here. Just go home. Take your medieval rules and stick them in your ear. Just go home. Your Sharia law will never rule our land. Just go home. We've got the Second Amendment to help you understand. Just go home. Just go home. Just go home. Take your hijabs back, better pack your burqas too. Just go home. God's blessed Texas and the other 49 too. Just go home. Don't Sharia my Texas. Just go home. Don't Sharia my Texas. Just go home. Oh, the yellow rose of Texas that I'm gonna see. Nobody else could miss her, not half as much as me. She cried so when I left her, it nearly broke my heart. And if I ever find her, we never more will part. Oh, the yellow rose of Texas that I'm gonna see. Nobody else could miss her, not half as much as me. She cried so when I left her, it nearly broke my heart. And if I ever find her, we never more will part. Just go home. Don't Sharia my Texas. Just go home. Don't Sharia my Texas. Just go home. Don't Sharia my Texas. Just go home.
It's funny to message to people outside of the Christian conservative bloc. You need to reach them in different ways. So that cartoon, we put together a really catchy song and a Disney video, and people respond so well to that we are so shadow banned. I think I have like 7 views on my Twitter page of that video. And other folks have put it out. They've got a couple hundred hits here, a couple hundred there. And these are folks that get, hundreds of thousands of views. So that just shows you right there that we're fighting this red-green alliance, the deep state that owns the media. I mean, why do Marxists hook up with Islamists? You've got these, gay guys and real liberal folks out there saying, free Palestine. If you were in Palestine, you'd be dead.
Welcome, everyone, to the Royal House of We the People. We have 2 special guests with Chris Burgard and Mr. Scott McCabe, Patriot Street Fighter, and we're going to be talking about a very important film that's coming out. We just saw Dark Horse in Las Vegas, and on Sunday we're going to have the premiere of Don't Sharia by Texas. And Chris, we want to welcome you and want to thank Scott for introducing you to us, and your story is remarkable. And we just would like to get the word out on this movie. And both Anna and I, after talking with you, we were floored. And we know that what's going on here in America with the infiltration is happening in Brazil, and it's happening all over the world. So with that, what I want to do is I want to start this video off because this is so important, and this is exactly what Chris is doing and what Scott's doing, what I'm doing, what Anna's doing, what Mike's doing. And this is why we're all in this fight, and we keep pushing and pushing and pushing to get in this fight. So I want to start this podcast off with this.
Today's ceremony, however, has very special meaning because today we are not merely transferring power from one administration to another or from one party to another, but we are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people. For too long, a small group in our nation's capital has reaped the rewards of government while the people have borne the cost. Washington flourished, but the people did not share in its wealth. Politicians prospered, but the jobs left and the factories closed. The establishment protected itself, but not the citizens of our country. Their victories have not been your victories. Their triumphs have not been your triumphs. And while they celebrated in our nation's capital, there was little to celebrate for struggling families all across our land. That all changes starting right here and right now, because this moment is your moment. It belongs to you.
Websites your competitor.
Thank you, Mike. I can't stress enough. I know, Scott, we've done podcasts with you. That speech is so important, and we've been telling everyone to get in the game. And with that, Chris, I want to hand it over to you, and I want you to tell the people what this movie's all about, how it came about, and who's behind this. Will you do that for us, please?
Absolutely. And thank you so much for letting me be on the show and doing this. This is outstanding. Scott, thanks for taking time away off from the hair salon to come do this show. I know your time is very valuable. So
Get it right, my friend. It was a nail salon. Please.
sorry about that. My mistake. I should have done my research better. So what your whole show, We the People, and transferring power back to the people, that's the only way we're going to save Texas. And don't get me wrong, I want to save all America from Sharia law, but I've been fighting the Muslim Brotherhood for 19 years, and I haven't ever seen anybody stand up and be as aggressive in their mission to save the security and the future of their state as Texans. And I live here in Texas. Scott lives here in Texas. So for us, it's pretty much a no-brainer. I first came across jihadis in West Texas 19 years ago. Sinaloa cartel was bringing them across the Rio Grande through my buddy's ranch. And one of them actually stopped and knocked at the door at 2 a.m. and said he asked if they had any dry socks because he got his feet wet coming across the river. And her husband, my buddy Jaime, he worked at the Hudspeth County Sheriff's Department. He's a jailer. So what they did was when she called him and said what's going out, then what happened there with the these Middle Eastern folks coming to the ranch, they put it out on the wire, law enforcement there. And the Sinaloa cartel went to her sister on the other side of the river in Chihuahua and said, if your sister doesn't shut the F up, we're going to cut her head off and take it back to Chihuahua. So we staged with 5 different law enforcement agencies there for 2 days to protect her, make sure she was all right. But that got me introduced to a guy named John Guandolo, who had just formed a task force out of the Department of Defense that was an anti-Muslim Brotherhood task force that was going around and educating the military, politicians, law enforcement, and now it's morphed into also civilians on understanding the threat that the Islamic invasion is doing, that it has in America, how they've been doing it, and how to stop it. I did not think I would be doing any more documentaries. I thought I was done, but I live here in East Texas, where Scott lives. They've got a mosque built there. They built 24 new mosques and Islamic centers in the Dallas-Fort Worth area in 24 months. I live in East Texas. They're spreading out to here. It's different out here because it's, how do I say this? The most political thing they'll ask you when you come visit it out here, crankers, is what church do you go to? Not do you go to church, but what church do you go to? So we're a little bit different than Dallas. And what they're doing is they spread these Islamic centers out. It's very much in the military way. They take the territory, they build the Islamic center, and then 3 miles around that, they claim that territory. And if you understand military strategy, you understand what they're doing. The problem is everybody in Texas has been looking at Islam like it's a religion. It's not a religion. It's a civilization that uses religion to get the camel's nose underneath the tent. And what rules all of Islam is Sharia law. It's a code of laws that came from Muhammad. He said he got them from Allah. They haven't changed since 640 AD. They're a bunch of medieval rules. And wherever the spread of Islam goes, things fall under Sharia. And that's what we're facing here. You may have heard of the Islamic Center, EPIC, East Plano Islamic Center. They wanted to buy 400 acres and build their own city, Muslims only. Well, we stopped that, but then they just rebranded, and now one of their leaders, a guy named Yasser Qadi, he's on camera, you'll see him in the movie, bragging about how it's not going to slow them down because Texas is for sale and they own the politicians. So if you can't count on the politicians to save us, you have to count on we the people. And I think that you're going to see East Texas will do it first, and then Texas will be the rock that breaks the spread of Sharia in the United States. And once we win this here, it will be a light bulb and a strategic model for the other states. Why am I so confident in this? Because I've been doing it for 19 years. And God has a sense of humor. I ran into jihadis in West Texas. I ran into again in South Texas. And then 11 years ago, CARE came in, and CARE is the mouthpiece. That's how most people in intelligence field look at CARE as the propaganda arm, the mouthpiece for the Muslim Brotherhood. They came and they bullied the school superintendent at my daughter's school to put in Sharia law into her school, her middle school. And we stood together and we rallied and we fought that using the tools and the methods, the peaceful methods that we learned from the Allied Special Intelligence Group. And we shut it down. We beat them 5-0. School board came together, conservatives and liberals, and kicked them the heck out of the community. And then they came back and they said, "Oh, we're going to sue you." And our guys got together and he said, "Bring it on. We're a small town of cowboys and law enforcement, fire guys, stuntmen, military contractors. We'll take that fight." And they diddy-miled out of there. And it was a real big victory because they tended to use us as precedent to roll into LA Unified School District, which is 500,000 kids. So I know that if we take that information, that strategy to win, and we put it in Texas, we will win Texas. You got Scott right there. Scott, how many counties were you in with your tactical civics? Like 1,300 counties?
Over 1,600.
Okay.
The U.S. out of 3,143, over 1,600 have a tactical civics chapter.
So there you go. So that kind of grassroots thing, Scott's in the movie. He's incredible in the movie. This is how we win this, because 1,600 counties, man, I tell you, if we do our numbers, we're looking at, if we do a quarter to a third of the counties in Texas, come next November, if you're not an anti-Sharia candidate, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, you're not getting into office, period.
Clearly define the enemy. Absolutely. I mean, the old adage from Sun Tzu goes way back, know your enemy. That We also have to look at the ideology that exists within these groups. You know, they share an ideology, and I would
America has enemies in our homeland.
I have a hard
and
time
abroad.
calling it or calling someone a Democrat or the Democratic Party.
You know, a communist, socialist shift in the world by the middle of this century, and we're suddenly a socialist nation. By the middle of real people who have this desire to change America, because in their likeness, right? So the infiltration of a socialist communist element, as well as a radicalized Islamist element,
We'll move on a different path towards what these Marxists want us to move towards. And this activist,
you hate America, you hate the American way of life, because there's a lot of them that
is socialism. It's not socialism. This is pure blown Marxism.
The Democratic Socialist Party of America that has, usurped and taken over that element.
If we want communism or Marxism or a combination of Marxism and Islamism running our country, sort of ruling the roost, he will be the first socialist to take over New York City, which is real here. And that's why this country needs change. And we need change right real. Now we are facing a dark, soulless group of people, Marxists, that have no soul.
wake up, America!
They've gotten this far through stealth and deception. And you have Yasser Qadi, who is one of the top Muslim Brother operatives in the United States. You have him bragging from the Epic Center that they're going to win Texas because they own the politicians, that Texas is for sale like America's for sale. And that's exactly what's been going on for the last 25 years. And then you also have the Islamic movement is hooked up line and sinker with the Marxist movement. So you have this red-green alliance. And that's what we have to fight, and that's what we're going to beat here in Texas. I'm less worried about the Islamic invasion as I am how the deep state has their back. And I'll say, just give you one example. People hear this interview. They want to know more about the truth about Islam. They go to the computer. They Google it. The answers you get from AI are not the answers you're going to get if you read the Hadiths, the Quran, and the Surah. It's been changed. I'll give you one example. You'll see it in the movie. In the Surah, if you read, well, let me back up. In Christianity, we have the Bible. Everything you learn about Christianity is in the Bible. In Islam, the Quran is only 14% of Islam. You have to read the Hadiths, especially those by Bukhari, and you have to read the Surah, which is the autobiography of Muhammad. So in the Surah, the autobiography of Muhammad, it states very clearly that when he died with his head in the lap of his favorite wife, Aisha, whom he married when she was 6 years old, had sex with her when she was 9. And the last words he said was that Islam would be the only religion in Arabia, and that he instructed his counselors to keep taking the bribes from the ambassadors of the Jews and the Christians. But if you go into AI and you look up what was the last message that Muhammad put out, it says, that women are equal to men and that we should do everything we can to have peace with the Jews and the Christians. It's exactly the opposite of what he left. We fought our first war, Thomas Jefferson, our first foreign war was against Islam. It was the Barbary pirates. It was the shores of Tripoli. It's why they call them leathernecks. They had to have hard-boiled leather around their neck to keep their heads from getting cut off. This is what we're fighting now. And it comes down to Sharia. Sharia being that medieval set of laws from 640 AD is the enemy of the Constitution. You cannot have constitutional law and Sharia law in the same civilization. And everybody that's putting out, the numbers say between 40 and 61% of the world of Islam in the United States wants Sharia law instead of the Constitution. They think they're winning, which is why throughout the Islamic world, Dallas is being referred to as the Mecca of the West, because they think they've already won. But remember the Alamo time? We lost the Alamo. Everyone was killed, but it gave General Houston time to train and rally the army. And 46 days later, they kicked the crap out of Santa Ana, a much larger force, in only 18 minutes. This is history repeating itself.
Fantastic. Well said. Scott, can you add to what Chris just said, please?
Yeah, for about the next 3 hours, I can add to it. I'm stunned that we even have this conversation. Look, this dynamic that we're dealing with this infiltration and this facilitation of the Muslim Brotherhood and Islam into this country is born on the backs of these scumbag, rancid, lying, thieving, murderous politicians. I don't care what level we are, local, state, federal. You've got these scumbag politicians that are facilitating this shit. They're taking payoffs, bribes. They're coming right on saying we own the politicians. This is at all levels. That's the problem. The problem isn't as much of Islam as it is to the political class in this country. This country has been destroyed or been destroying itself from the inside out, not because of you, me, the great people out there across America listening to this. It's because of these scumbag, traitorous politicians that exist at all levels. And it's not just, I mean, we could sit here and talk all night about, I just had a conversation about the local corruption right here in this district where I went to school, Phillipsburg, Osceola, which is about ready to get an ass beating in the next week or so because of what I just learned that's going on here locally. But this is a problem. If we, like Chris said, if any candidate is not professing to be an anti-Sharia or anti-Islam candidate, they shouldn't get a vote. They shouldn't get your vote. Look, when I was on the Reawaken America tour, we had a number of people running for governorship, Congress, different seats backstage who were speakers. And I told the audience with them sitting there, and they were watching the monitor. If any of these guys that are running for office, and these are my friends, by the way, anybody back here that's running for any office, if they don't talk like Patriot Street Fighter, don't give them your vote. Because if they're not going to fight for you out here like I do, I guarantee you, once they get elected and get behind those doors, they're never going to fight for you at all. This is the biggest problem in the country is the political class. As far as the Nation of Islam, there's no debate to have here. They've been spelling it out. You could look at thousands and thousands of TikTok, YouTube, Instagram videos, you name it, Facebook Reels. And these people in this country, these imams, clerics, whatever you want to call these people, these killers, they're coming right out and telling us, we are going to have Islam in every house in this country. You're going to submit to the will of Allah. They're saying, I don't understand how these people come into our country and tell us this is how it's going to be. Can you imagine if we did that in their country? You go across their border illegally, they cut your damn head off. You go across the Mexican border, you're going to end up in jail. You go across Canadian border, you're going to prison. Yet we have all these countries, including these three I mentioned, and then these Middle Eastern shitholes that these people are coming from. This is beyond insanity. I cannot believe that we have to have conversations like this on a podcast. But yet here we are. And why is it? And I'm going to tell you why. We the people, are sitting on your ass doing nothing while there's a takeover of your country. We've been on the road for 6 years now, been out here for 6 years fighting this battle. And yes, we have millions of great patriots out there that have come to the battlefield, but there's tens of millions of other people who still haven't even picked their head up to look at the message, haven't done anything to defend their kids and their grandkids' future from what's coming to this country. And I'm literally just listening to Chris for the last, I'm literally ready to come out of my skin. All of this bullshit is what created Patriot Street Fighter, because I'm sick of the people fancy talking, dancing around these issues, and trying to be politically correct and not offend anybody. And I'm like, fuck all of that bullshit. That's going to get us killed. That's going to get your daughters raped and murdered. Look what's happening in Denmark, Sweden, France, Germany, the UK. It's gotten so far that now a Muslim, an Islam lunatic, stabs a guy, a British kid, stabs him. The cops show up, put the cuffs on the guy that's bleeding out, who's an innocent Brit, and leaves the Muslim go until the kid dies. That's why there's hell to pay in the UK and Ireland. It's gotten so bad in Ireland. The IRA finally came out off the bench. And you know why? Because the political class and the loser law enforcement who will do this kind of a job against their own people, because they're not doing anything. What's the good old go IRA? I'm behind you 100%. They're going into Muslim houses in Ireland, throwing their asses out and burning those houses to the ground. That's what's going to happen in this country if people don't pull their heads out of their asses and see what's going on here. I don't even know what else to say. I don't know how hot this flame has to come off of my skull to get the people blown back to say, holy shit, there's really something going on here. What do I got to do? Self-combust here in front of the whole world on a podcast to get people to wake up to what's happened to our country? I don't get it. I don't believe. There has said this for 6 years on every radio show and podcast. You people, you are going to fight. I guarantee you're going to fight. You're going to fight this battle. You're going to do it by choice or you're going to do it by force. If you do it by choice, by putting down your bread and your circus bullshit and start focusing on what's happening to your kids' country, start fighting back, there's going to be a lot less damage, a lot less carnage, and a less chance you're going to lose your life. If you wait till they're on your doorstep, like General Flynn said, what are you going to do? Wait till they knock on your door before you do something? Then you're going to fight. Because if you don't, you're a coward right in front of your wife and kids. You're a coward. So you have no choice but to fight. But now you're outnumbered and you're going to get yourself killed and your family killed. What more is there to say here? What more is there to say here on this subject? Anyway, I'm gonna concede my time here before I blow my gasket.
I just want to add that what Scott is saying and doing, that is the typical reaction of the typical Texan when they understand what's going on. Thing is, they haven't known because it's been this whole stealth operation to get this in there. There's Tommy Robinson is in the movie and he's a friend of ours. He gets hit. Oh, he's this angry far-right extremist. Well, his 13-year-old cousin, Jeanette, was raped by a room full of bearded Muslim men. And none of them were ever arrested because the police didn't want to seem racist. 250,000 women and children have been raped in the UK in less than the last 10 years. And it's gone from they're protected because nobody wants to be called a racist and arrest them to now you have so many Muslims that follow Sharia law in the state, local, and federal governments over there. That's not a crime to rape those girls and those women because under Sharia law, since they're not covered up and they are kafir, non-believers, they can be raped. There's two things people need to understand, two Arabic words I want your audience to remember. One is called hijra. Hijra literally means immigration jihad. It's how Muhammad went from Mecca to Medina and took over Medina. And the other word is taqiyya. Taqiyya means deception. It allows any Muslim to lie in order to push jihad. That's how we got to where we are.
Chris, and I feel Scott's passion whenever he talks, and because I know your story, I know Scott's story. Scott has given his whole entire life to this movement. You've given your whole entire life to this movement. Anna's given her whole entire life to this movement. I've given my whole entire life to this movement. And people still sitting on their ass, but they'll bitch and they'll complain. And the one thing I hear over and over again is, this is taking too long. When's this going to end? Well, it ends by you getting involved. And if they can't get involved, then open your checkbook and help this movement so that we can continue moving forward. I can't tell you, how frustrating it is to lose your home, to lose your business, and then be criticized for standing up for the truth. And I know that the summit we just came from in Las Vegas with Juan and his staff, and hats off to them. What a wonderful summit that was, and so much we learned. And it's the reason why we are sitting here right now having this conversation is because of this summit. But people have to get involved. That video that we just showed you with President Trump telling you that he's giving you back the country, he is giving us back the country. We have to take the country back. And that means you have to show up at your school board meetings. You have to show up at your city board meetings. You have to show up at your county board meetings. Because when you don't show up, they're pulling the wool right over your eyes. And they're using our tax dollars, our property tax dollars, to fund these people to come in and infiltrate us. And it's so fucking, like Scott says, I want to put my fist through the wall at times because there's so many people that have made so many sacrifices to do the right thing, and yet people are still not getting involved. And I don't want to harp on this. This is not what we want to do, but damn it, these people are infiltrating. They are here in South Dakota. They have taken over Minneapolis, St. Paul. They've taken over St. Cloud, Minnesota. They've taken over Rochester, Minnesota. They're taking over Duluth, Minnesota. They're taking over our country, you guys. And then what happens, and I can tell you this is what happened in Minnesota, when the George Floyd thing happened, nobody stood up for the truth. They all moved out of Minneapolis and St. Paul. They all moved north to the Lake Country. And I heard this in the summit about California. Well, I'm going to move here. I'm going to move to Nevada. No, we have to stand our ground. We have to protect our neighborhoods. And there's my rant. I just, I want to back up with what Scott said and what you have said, Chris, with General.
Can I just interject? Can I comment on what you just said, Jim?
Yes.
And what kind of government have you given us, Mr. Franklin? A republic, ma'am, if you can keep it.
And that's not a thing that's been lied about since FDR hijacked that message, and FDR's inserted, switched out the word republic for democracy, and they've promoted since FDR that we're democracy. We are not. We never were. The founders abhorred a democracy. The founders said democracy is one step from tyranny. Our founders called democracy mob rule. And I'll use my example. My people have heard me use 1,000 times. You want to know the difference and why a democracy is dangerous and why they call it mob rule? 5 people, one society, separate from anywhere else, forming their own government. They come up with an idea to have democracy. How about majority rules? Yeah, that's fair. Okay, now because the thing about it, in either of these cases, what applies for one group has to apply equally for every group. That's just fair. Well, in democracy, here's how it applies to groups. You have 3 men and 2 women. Say none of them are attached. After about 6 months of living separately from the rest of society, have their own government democracy. At their monthly meeting, one man raises his hand, puts forward a motion. I think men should have their carnal needs, their biological needs that need to be taken care of. We don't have any other women but these 2. So we should pass a motion or a law that you have to spend time with us 3 at certain points for intimacy, because that's how we're made. Right? What is the chance? Is there any chance at all that it could be a 3 vote, 3-2, 3 men, 2 women? Who knows? But if it is, now what you have is legalized rape. These 3 get to have sex with these women anytime they want. There's your democracy. There's majority rules. The difference between the Democrats and the Republicans, the Democrats have been fighting for democracy and mob rule forever, from day one. Republicans have fought for the republic. What's a republic? A republic is where you have a representative to represent these various groups or constituencies. In this case, let's say somebody puts forward the exact same vote in this society of 5, but it's a republic. Here's how it works. The 3 men put together one of them as a voter to represent the others. The women put forth one of them to step forward and vote for both of them. And that comes, what's the chance it's going to be a 2-0 vote? Unless this woman's a complete dish rag, it ain't ever going to happen. It's going to be a 1 yes and 1 no. Legislation dies because it's a tie, and women now don't have to live under tyranny of being raped because these guys passed the law. That is the difference between a democracy and a republic. And I even get fucking furious when I hear Donald Trump keep using the word democracy. He is my president. I've backed him from day one. I've never backed up. He's still the guy, the only guy who can shift the balance of power in this world. But Mr. President, please stop using this fucking word democracy, because it is one step away from the grave, which is tyranny. I don't want to be in a democracy. My founders didn't give me one. They gave me a republic. And that's exactly what Franklin said when Mrs. Powell walked past him as he came down the steps from City Hall. Mr. Franklin, what did you give us, a monarchy or a republic? He said, we gave you a republic if you can keep it. Why did he follow up with that last statement? If you can keep it. Because he understands the law of man. He understands human nature. He understands people can generally be lazy and not want to do any work. Well, guess what happens when you're asleep at the wheel and you're not maintaining a balance of focus and attention on your own county, your own community, your own republic? If you don't, what do you think happens? We're looking at it. That's why Jefferson said, tell me not the virtues of men, but chain him down with the Constitution. Why do you think these men, the most brilliant that ever walked on this land, why do you think they made such statements? Tell me not the virtues of man, but chain him down with the Constitution, because they understand the nature of man. Yet here we are, and because we failed to mind our own house, just like somebody who does not pay attention or have stewardship over their kids, let them do whatever the hell they want. What do you end up with? Kids that are into drugs. I live in a small town here. I grew up in a small town. I don't live here now. 250 people graduating high school. The town I grew up in is a neighboring town with 2,000 people. We had to combine school districts in high school to have a big enough place to go to school. In the little town I lived in, 2,000 people, 2 years ago, 13 heroin deaths. What? How's that happen? Because the generations that came beyond mine, having kids, didn't give a shit about the kids. Or maybe the tax system has weighed them down so much. Like my mom, she had to go get a job in a factory. As we were growing up, my mother was a full-time mom. Tax rates kept rising. What happens? Mom had to go to work in a factory. Now you don't have people that can maintain some presence over their kids. And no stewardship, what happens? They get to do what they want, no responsibility, and you get what you get. It's time-tested, time and time again. But the parents who maintain a focus on their household, what goes on in their household, raising their kids with a value system, typically don't have problems. It's no different in a nation. Same thing. If we are not stewards of the house we live in, if the town we live in, the community or county we live in, or the state or the country, what do you think happens? Criminals are always looking for a way in. That's why the political class in this country, even right here in Phillipsburg, Pennsylvania, have criminals that are part of the local body. How do I know? I just had these conversations today. I probably shouldn't get on this show tonight because I probably won't.
Oh, no. This is powerful because this is the energy that the people need to hear. And we could go on and on, but I really want to let's get the trailer of Chris's movie out, because this is everything we're talking about is all about this movie. So let's play the trailer.
فأجمعوا أمركم وشركاءكم ثم لا يكن أمركم عليكم غمة.
This American man must pay the price for America's failure to surrender to the Islamic State and submit to the will of Allah. The death of this kafir will soon be repeated 300 million times over. The caliphate will destroy the great Satan. We will urinate on your constitution. And soon, you shall have Sharia in your White House.
Damn it, Mohammed! Sorry. This is an insult to Allah! I spilled my juice. I'll spill your blood, you son of a Hollywood whore! Oh, I'm sure I don't like Texas.
There's something about Texas and how God has blessed it, and God has blessed the people of Texas. When I see God connecting all of us the way that he is, I go, man, he's raising an army.
Man, if we want to stay here, we must talk to America about Sharia.
Nobody in the government, civilian government, DOD, Intel, knew anything about Sharia.
We are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America.
Did you find that the Biden administration's DHS had a formal vetting process in place?
The department did not have a formal process at the start of the OAW.
That's astounding.
My wife got confronted at 9:30 at a grocery store parking lot by a guy saying, "You should not be on the street. You're going to be right."
People get excited and the rape is done. Who's to blame? It is illegal to blame.
Under his system, he's allowed to rape any woman that's unattended.
My cousin was 13 or 14, Jeanette. She woke up naked in a house, lots of bearded Muslims raping her.
There's no such thing as a Muslim country where children are not trafficked.
What you have right there is a clash of civilizations, not a clash of religions, a clash of civilizations.
Is Islam a religion?
It's a civilization, not a religion.
What about the Muslim Brotherhood? What about Hezbollah? What about Hamas? What ties the entire global movement together is Sharia. The stated purpose of Islam is to wage jihad.
They don't apologize about jihad. They're not afraid of jihad. It's a part of who we are.
Since 2020, there's been over 500 Catholic churches that have been assaulted. You don't hear about the Christian churches that have been attacked. If a mosque was attacked, they would be crucified.
If you build a mosque in the middle of nowhere, you're going to get Islamists. And Muslims come. These imams or clerics are openly calling for the takeover of this country, the Islamization of this country.
This is the correct religion, and we will not stop until it enters every home.
Imam says to me in the interview that the United Kingdom will be a Muslim country within 20 years.
I stood outside a mosque in Manchester, and when I stood there, within a 2-mile radius, I found 16 people had gone to fight for ISIS.
And you see areas like Paris or London, whose culture is being absolutely eroded.
You have a lot of people from the Muslim Brotherhood that have infiltrated all areas of our intelligence community, of our legal community, and into the government. Why would you put a knife to your own throat?
Army Major Nadal Hassan was convicted of killing 13 people and wounding 32 others.
The state with the most jihadi attacks in the United States, Texas.
We are in a battle not just for the future of Texas or the future of the United States of America. Texas is on the front lines in the battle for nothing less than the future of Western civilization.
Don't be deceived and don't be afraid.
You have Texas politicians believing in whatever keeps them elected. If Texas falls, the rest of the United States falls.
Don't mess with Texas.
Shepherds aren't weak, and I'm not weak. And I'm not going to let anyone come in here and hurt this flock.
America starts in Texas. This is another Alamo. This time, we're going to win.
The battle for Texas begins now. I would love to have you, make some comments on that trailer.
It is such a large battle that we're fighting. And like General Flynn says, local action has national consequences. So we need to wake the people up on the local level, on the church level, county level, state, federal. It's got to come from us. As my one friend would say, you have to hit a tipping point. That's really cool, man. Somebody should name the show that. Tipping point. That's really powerful.
Great idea. I think I'm going to do that.
Hey, all right. I'm here all week, folks.
Let me jump here. I'm sorry, Mike.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I want to talk about Brazil and connect. I mentioned to Chris when we were in Las Vegas, I mentioned that here in Brazil, we have a congressman already introducing the anti-Sharia law in the Congress here in Brazil. And of course, he's being totally, how can I say, all other parties are against his idea, against his presentations. I don't know if Cranker or Mike have the screenshot because I want to make it visual for you guys to see that as during this conversation with you, Chris, and listening to you in Las Vegas, and now here listening to Scott, what I see is that I'm also watching the future, what's coming for Brazil. Okay, you are facing it right now, and probably in the next few years or maybe next few months, we are going to see much more action on this Sharia talk here in Brazil because it's really low. The volume is very low. Although the law is being introduced, the anti-Sharia is being introduced in the Congress. And at the same time, as I'm watching you guys talk about this, I cannot forget the past because all this battle we faced against Saladin in the land where nowadays you have Portugal and Spain. There was this crusade and the Arabs invading this area. And because of this invasion, many Portuguese, including the royal family of Portugal, they left Europe and came to Brazil. So it's a long history. This is not new. There's nothing new under the sun. And this is not new. This is a repetition. And we have, although this last 6 years, we have been talking about child trafficking, about women being sacrificed in early, very young age marriages, and still people don't understand. And I totally agree with Lara when she says it's a clash in between two civilizations because for them we are committing crimes. And for us, they are committing crimes. So this is a spiritual battle. Because do you get what I'm saying, Chris and guys?
100%.
Yeah.
No.
This is very important to notice, everyone, because it's the law, the anti-Sharia law, is already being talked about here in Brazil. Many presentations, this congressman. He is, in fact, a member of the imperial family, the royal and imperial family from Brazil. And it's a long time history. It's a long time battle. And this is the gentleman who was selected to introduce this law, this anti-Sharia law to the Brazilians, and it came together with Chris' premiere of the movie, and I'm thrilled to see the future and the past in just one video with you guys.
So what we'll do, Anna, is we'll send that to Mike and we'll edit that in, and we'll also edit in the cartoon, because we're coming up on the clock. And I know everyone's got a schedule to uphold. The other thing is we'll enter General Flynn's speech that he has because it backs up 117% what Chris is saying and what Scott's saying. And you can hear his voice because he's had it too. General Flynn's had it also. So, people, we have to get in the game. There is no alternative. If you don't, then it's all going to come down. So we have to get in the game. And Chris, I don't know if and we can edit this part out or not, but is there any way that anyone can reach out to you and make donations to help move this forward? Is there a page that you've come up with or anything like that that we can start generating some revenue so that we can bring this to state by state and country?
Well, this is no different than the fraud summit that just came out of Vegas. I think in terms of making awareness and making, if anybody wants to make contribution to something, this movie and the knowledge of what is happening in our communities, this is happening in locally everywhere. This is happening where people live their world, unfortunately, through social media, through the TV, through everything that's going on. They're not living it in a, I would call it, Little House on the Prairie style, where you're community focused. I mean, there was no other town outside of what was the family at Little House on the Prairie? The
Ingalls.
You know what I mean? So if the Muslim Brotherhood came to the Ingalls family or to the church there, what would happen? We all know what would happen, but it's scaling that out to and it's basically showing what's happened over the past 20 years, 25 years. And Chris, you've just documented it. We've all been asleep at the wheel at this whole thing through technology and through all the things that we're doing and busy and we're all this stuff, been so busy, and they've taken advantage of that. And corruption is corrupt, and it's filtered into our families and our societies and our communities. And what General Flynn has said over and over again, let's simplify it. You have to win the battle in your own backyard. The backyard is your sanctuary, your home, your family, your community. That's where all this has to start. And if everybody does that collectively, we win. But like Scott said, the frustration comes in where you got a town of 13,000 people. You got one person there. He's labeled conspiracy theorist, and nothing ever happens because he's too afraid to go out and say something. Just like with this, by the time you know it, the churches are infiltrated. Every community has to stand up and have some ambassador that does that. And they have a Patriot Street Fighter that comes up and just says, "Hey, this is what we're going to be doing." And so yeah, I will edit some of the stuff out, Jim. But that was my little rant, and I'm equally pissed off.
Good. By the way, Mike has paid a heavy price in this battle too. He's living that opposition in his own family, in under his own roof and extended family. Yet here he is 6 years later, still fighting the same fight that we're fighting, trying to get through to people around him in his county, now state and the country, being on a podcast to show people what it takes and what it looks like to reflect a true American. The home of the free, land of the brave, or whichever it is, land of the free, home of the brave. I don't even remember anymore because they don't even have us say it in school anymore. But most of us, I know I don't, but most of us don't reflect the land of the free and the home of the brave, because we certainly aren't free. These scumbag, rancid politicians have been stealing our freedoms behind closed doors for 40 years. And brave? I don't see bravery. I see people taking all this, sitting down, doing nothing.
I see man buns. I see man buns in most communities. There's no male figure anywhere that I see. I don't see a man in my community. Go ahead.
Man buns, Mike. Man buns. Man buns, socks, Crocs, and fucking pajama bottoms they're wearing out in public to the supermarket.
To the grocery store. Yep.
The grocery store.
Again, guys, that's why Texas is I believe is the last hope of the United States of America. They've targeted us. They need to take us down, because if Texas falls, the country falls. But here out in the country, you don't see man buns out by me. I mean, God bless folks that have man buns. But we are not Dearborners. We are not Parisians. We're not Londoners. You have grooming gangs come to East Texas and try something. It's not like UK where the men have done nothing for 10 years. Out here, the cops aren't going to get there fast enough because the neighbors and the families are going to take care of that before it gets there. Make no mistake. We need watch this movie so we can do this peacefully, because otherwise, this is Texas. You look at history, it's going to go bad down here. We need to nip this in the bud now, peacefully.
Chris, that's very well said, and I appreciate everyone saying this, because this is the time where, when you say we're coming up on the 250th anniversary of our country and the home of the brave, think about this. For every man that's out there that hears my voice, if you're going to walk around with a flag or a patriotic hat or a shirt or an outfit or fly the flag, and you're going to be rah-rah and crack beers and barbecue, that's not what this is about. I want to say that again. It's not what it's about. It's not about drinking and barbecuing and partying. We are at a critical stage in our country.
You know what,
all
Jim,
need to get involved. We
Jim,
have to man up.
If folks want to go to our website, which is rememberthealamomovie.com, they'll find this there. That's where they can watch the movies, but they'll also see something that's called the Alamo Pledge. And if you guys would so honor me, Anna, you can put in Brazil for when we say Texas. You guys can put in South Dakota or wherever you're at. Scott and I are going to say Texas, or you can say United States of America. But would you mind if I close us out with do the Alamo Pledge?
Absolutely.
Amen to that.
I pledge, because in Texas, your word means something, and we need to bring that back to the United States. I pledge to God the Father.
I pledge to God the Father.
And to Jesus Christ, his Son.
And Jesus Christ, his Son.
That I will never retreat.
That I will never retreat.
That I will never surrender.
That I will never surrender.
And that Texas will never become an Islamic state.
And that Brazil is not.
Minnesota will never become an Islamic state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
So help me God.
That's why we're going
to end the fight.
Get in the fight. What's in my hand?
Yep.
Tomahawk, baby.
The Constitution. Look at it. We the people. That's a rolled up Constitution. Get in the fight.
And that's not a marketing scheme, folks. That's the real deal. I mean, that's exactly what he's done. The proof is in the pudding. And Scott McKay is one of the few patriots that are out there. There's too many PAY patriots out there that are infiltrating also. That's another leg that we are fighting. But Scott McKay and his army has done so much. And Chris, you've seen that in the movie itself and putting that together and what he's done. So
God bless you, Chris. God bless you, Scott.
Our country was founded upon a set of Judeo-Christian principles and values to make sure that we were a godly country, because that's the fulfillment of who we are as a nation. How do we bring the spirituality of what our country is and why it was created? Because the enemy, the adversaries that we face, it's evil. It is evil. It is godless. The infiltration into our country is the single greatest threat that we face. It's intellectual, it's emotional, it is physical, but it is definitely spiritual. It's good versus evil. Our country is in the place that it is in because the American people have not stood up enough. I'm talking about citizens in their communities. We, the people, we live not in a democracy. We live in a republic. We live in a representative form of government. That means that we, the people, are the ones that are supposed to say how it is that we are going to live. The last 10 elections for President of the United States of America, we averaged 67% turnout for voting for President of the United States. So that's more than 30% of the American people that were registered to vote, could vote, and decided not to vote. We must organize. We must get together. We must have a passion for our country. We have massive, massive challenges ahead, folks, because they're smart. They're smart and they're evil. It's not going to take one presidency. The only way that this country is going to survive another 250 years is if states stand up and come together. This idea of local action is powerful. It is powerful. And so when we go out, when you leave here and you go to your counties, and you go back to your towns, and you're in your various groups and your churches especially, you've got to speak up. You have to sound off. People come up to me all the time and they tell me, "Thank you for your service." And I say, "Well, how are you serving today? How are you serving today?" So if you don't remember anything I say, I want you to remember that question. And when you're going out there and you're talking and you're in your different places in life, I want you to ask that same question of the people that you're with. How are you serving our country today? Today. Because if you don't decide to serve as a citizen of this country, if you don't stand up today, tomorrow, the next day, as we go through these next couple of years, because one man cannot do it. You cannot control what Donald Trump is going to do today. You cannot control what is happening in Washington, D.C., but you can take control of what is happening in your life today. You can take control of what you're doing right here, right now, in your county, in your town, whether you're going to decide to serve, whether you're going to decide to stand up for your country. You guys and gals are here to achieve something. You're here to achieve something for this state, right? Whatever those things are, constitutional carry, whatever it is, you have got to decide, how can I help? Can I use my time to get on the phone to make some calls? Do you need some emails done? Do you need some writing done of letters? Do you need somebody to go around and knock on doors? I'm not asking you folks. I'm getting chills talking about it. I'm getting emotional about it. I am pleading. I am going around this country pleading with people. Take this message back. Ask the question, how am I serving today? How are you serving today? And drive it home.
We want to honor and give our gratitude to all of those who designed and put this plan together and executed this plan to save America and the entire world from these satanic evil monsters. To Commander-in-Chief Donald J. Trump and his generals and military from around the world, the Kennedy family, our Galactic Federation, all the Gone with the Wind souls, and all the Q digital patriots around the world, and most of all, God. We are so thankful for this plan, and to all those heroes who paid the ultimate sacrifice during this spiritual war. No words can describe their commitment and service. Because of you, humanity is able to move forward towards God. Prayers for peace, love, and healing strength we send to those families and friends of our fallen heroes. We love you all. God bless America and all the world. The Royal House of We the People